Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to do a tutorial for this very basic striped half double crochet little sweater I made for my grandbabies. Basic construction. These are half double crochets all worked in the round. The thing I love about this is that I do the joins right here so that we don't have a seam down the back. And I think that looks really nice, and that's very disguised. I learned how to do that when I was doing the jack-o'-lantern costume for baby Jack for Halloween this last year. So I thought, oh, I'm going to incorporate that technique for a sweater. So the yarn I'm using, Bernat Bundle Up. I am using the H hook. It is recommended I, but I sized down a little bit because this can be really stretchy yarn, and I wanted it to kind of hold its shape a little bit more. Have the measurements of your little one handy. This 3-month size is about 9 inches long. I made the 9-month size 10 much. I'm going to probably make Jack's 12 inches long. So, and then you'll add width. What you basically do is we're just going to increase until you get the width that you need. So anyway, pretty simple. This is slip stitches for the wrist. I thought that was so cute. My girls just love this. They thought it was, super soft. They're wanting me to make all the baby sweaters and things now with Burnout Bundle Up. So here we go. Let's get started. Okay, so just start with a simple slip knot, and let's chain 5. Now this collar is worked with slip stitch, just back loop slip stitch. So you're going to want to make 4 slip stitch. Make sure you do 4 for every stitch right there. Chain 1. For the most neat look, always turn your work in the same direction. If I turn it like a page in a book. And I will work, kind of look down at the top here. I'm going to work into the back loop. That'll give us the most stretch. And it will get easier as it grows a little bit as we get more stitches made. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one's kind of buried down there. Chain 1, turn. Look for those back loops. All right, so what you want here are 64 rows of this slip stitch. So an easy way for me to count that is with the tail over here on the left. This first little stack of V's that you see, that is 1, 2. So that would count, that's 2 rows. So I go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 50, 2, 4, 6, 8, 60, and then I have got 2 and 4. Looks like I did 65. So let's end over here. We've got 64 rows. All right, so take your hook out. We're going to sew this together with your tapestry needle. Just thread the tapestry needle, and let's put this together as neatly as possible. I just kind of work through and underneath those first 2 loops, the 2 V's, and then I'll just kind of come back around, go into the next. So I'm going underneath the bottom of that chain, and then underneath the 2 V's. Great. I just usually just stop like that. Okay, in this very first little bar that you see there, we're going to work 2 single crochets. And then we're going to skip over until the next bar. So when I'm saying bar, I don't know what to say. It's right to the right of those set of V's. We're just trying to create a base around the neck to just look as neat as possible. So working 2 single crochets lets us do that in the same spot, because next to the other side of the V, you know, for that row, you've got 2 bars to work around. So it's just much easier. It looks neater. Just work around the 1 bar. It counts for 2 rows. Okay, when you get 64 stitches going around, which is what I've got, my 64th stitch here kind of ended, but on that, this is that starting chain row. So I don't want to work into that. That kind of would split it up a little bit. So I'm going to join with that first stitch of the row, just like that. So double check that you've got your 64 stitches around, and now let's split up the little collar here into sections so that we know where the increases go. Grab 3 stitch markers. Okay, so this is where our join is. You can see that stitch right there. Let's count 12 from that stitch. Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And let's mark that. Now we're going to count 20. So let's start with the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20. And now let's count 12. So starting with the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if we've done this right, we should have 20 left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, and that is the stitch. 20 is the stitch before the one that we join. So let's make sure we've got the correct amount of stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So counting the stitch of the join, there should be 12. This is stitch number 12. Now that we've joined and we're all good here, I'm actually going to move this tail out of my way. Go ahead, do a few more stitches sewing it together, but I think we're good to go. These are going to be our little shoulders. So we're trying to divide up the circle evenly. So we have 64 stitches. There's going to be 20 stitches across the front and the back and 12 over the shoulders. For this first round, what we need to do is we've joined and chained 2. We're going to work just 2 half double crochets right into that first stitch. We need a little increase right here. You'll see why after we work around to the next shoulder. But so just in that first stitch, work 2. Now work 1/2 double crochet into each stitch up to that stitch marker. And I'm just working underneath the top 2 loops here. And in this stitch marker spot, work 1/2 double crochet, chain 2, and 1/2 double crochet. All right. Now do that in each of the marked stitches, and I'll meet you back and we'll do the join. So just be working 1 stitch per stitch, and then in the corners, 1/2 double crochet, chain 2, 1/2 double crochet. Okay, before I join for this round though, what I really want you to make sure is that you have the same number of 1/2 double crochets between each little chain 2 spaces. So we had to add that extra one here so we could have 13, and there's 13 over here. And so I am counting the the 1/2 double crochets that are between these 2 chain spaces right here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13. And then the chain 2s. Now, you also could do the same here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18. I think there's 21. Let me double check. Yes, 21 on either side of the chain 2 spaces. So when we come around here to the back, you will know when to work your last stitch. It's just really this first row you want to pay attention to the number of 1/2 double crochets so you get a good base. 19, 20, so I've worked 20, and now here's number 21. Right here, right up next to that chain 2. Okay, so the chain 2 sort of disappears here in the round. So I'm slip stitching into the space here, slip stitch, and then chaining 2. And now we are good to go for the next row. We do not need to work 2 in the first stitch at all. Everything should really work out evenly now. Work just 1/2 double crochet into the same space that you did that slip stitch. That'll be your next little corner piece. And now work 1/2 double crochet into the top of each one. There's no no turning. We're continuing on in the same direction. What you do is notice when you finish the stitch, it's kind of behind you. The V is behind you. That's how you know you've completed it. So when you're looking at the post, the top of that stitch is to the back of it. So I don't want you to get confused or feel like you need to do an extra stitch when you get up here to the corners. So here we are, we're working the last stitch right here. That's it. No need to work into the top of that one. We're going to work straight into the chain 2. This is where we work our increases, or I call them the corners. And we're going to come right out of that, work to the left of that first post. That's where your first stitch goes. So again, sometimes it'll be helpful if you is to just, make sure everything is even. Count the one you do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I have 14. 14. So on this round, we're going to have 22. We'll just keep gaining. To make this for a newborn, you will work 8 rounds. For the size 3-month to 6-month, around 10 or 11 rounds. For the 6 to 9-month size, work 12 rounds. For 12 to 18 months, work 14 rounds. And the largest you really could make this is for 16 rounds, and that would be 24 months. Just wanted to pop in here after I'm on my 7th row here, 7th round, and I've got 27 stitches. So I want to make sure that you're working into this last space before the chain to get that 27th one. So 27 in between the 2 chains right here. And on this side, 19. We've got 19 between for the arm. So what we're eventually going to be doing when we get it wide enough is to join. And this becomes our little, these become our little arms. So just to see how we're doing here, this was the size 3-month size. So I've got a couple more rows to go. This is row 7. Got 10 rows of color, and then we'll join with the white. So, okay, well, this is 16 rounds. And this is as big as I'm gonna make this sweater for the next size that I think you could do. So Baby Jack is 21 inches around too, and so that's another measurement, and that would be tight. We're going to add some width when we join for the armholes, but this is another good measurement to look for. That you've got 4 inches of space, you want to be able to have enough room to get their arms through. And I'll have a little size chart in the blog post so you can kind of check those measurements. So anyway, as for counts, I have 36 stitches in between these 2 chains. So if you want to check that way that you're on track, and there were 28 in between these 2 chains. So on this last stitch, now we're going to change to white. And also, this is the round where we will join for the armholes. So here we go. We're going to slip stitch and work a half double crochet. Then we're going to chain 4, skip over all of these stitches, and work a half double crochet around the next chain 2 space. So we've created a little extra width for the bodice. Now work 1 half double crochet in every stitch around to the next chain 2 space. Okay, we've arrived at the next chain 2 space, so work 1 half double crochet and then chain 4 and skip all the next stitches. Go to the next chain 2 space and work that half double crochet, and then work all in each stitch around back to the beginning. Now we're back to the beginning of the round, and you'll notice where we have, where we changed color and we have that first half double crochet. Work half double crochet into that stitch, and now work 4 half double crochets around that chain. And then come here and begin working around each stitch. So we add a little bit of width there. And if you want more, you could add more stitches onto that. You know, in fact, after this round, you know, measure it and make sure you've got enough width for your little guy. I will make sure I've got 21, maybe even 23. I want it to be a little bit big on him. This is kind of stretchy, which is good. So I just worked this and measured it, and I think I am going to go back and give Jack just a little bit more room. He's you know, on Kate's sweater, she's just a skinny little newborn, so working 4 on there was fine. He's going to need a little bit more room. So like I say, you can, you know, this number of chains is flexible. So if you know you've got a huskier little guy, just give him a little bit more room to get down there. So anyway, we're just going to work in a spiral. So I'm going to fix this and then I'll come back on. I'm going to work 4 rows of the white and then I'll switch back to the teal. The switching is always going to happen just right, you know, I'll try to do it right under the arm. I mean, it'll just be a tiny little jag right there. But other than that, everything just works in the round from here on out. Okay, so I did go back and for Jack's sweater here, I did make the 6 chains and I worked 6 half double crochets. So maybe in this bigger size, that's what it kind of needs. But anyway, just so see what you think. I'm changing back to the teal after, I know I said 4 rows earlier, it is 3 rows. So I'm changing back to 3, and I'm just pulling it up across. This will be the inside of the sweater anyway, and I felt like that would be more secure. It's not really going to show on the inside of the sweater. But if you're uncomfortable with that, cut and weave it in later. So I'm clipping off the white though. We're done with the white. And now, honestly, you're going to work just around and around in a spiral until you have the length that you need for the baby you're making it for. All right, the longest I'm going to make Jack's is about 12 inches, and then I'll do the little waistband for him. So, and baby Kate's was, so the smallest size from the neck is about 7.5 inches, and then you'll do another, you know, then it makes it 9 inches. So anyway, okay, before I lose my sunlight though, I really want to jump on here and take a break from working that out and go ahead and show you how to do the arm portion, how to get that started. So what we need to do is make sure for this one, you're holding it in a way that you're still working in the same direction that the stitches are going. So we want to work with the V's pointing away from us, not against us. So most likely start with the right side of the sweater facing you. Insert your hook in between one of the stitches there. We're going to use white for the first 3 rows. So go ahead, yarn, pull up a loop, chain 1, and then I half double crochet right into that spot. That's our first half double crochet. Now we kind of want to work this back to this stitch, but we want to combine all these. So what we're going to do is kind of like insert your hook down here in between two of the stitches and insert your hook after another two stitches, pull through. So we kind of combined all four, these two stitches and these two, so that our next one, we're going to work in that chain two space and then work into the next space. And that kind of helps bring the armhole together. Now just work one half double crochet per stitch going around. All right, I'm back to the chain two space. You can tell that that's the chain two space right there. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and then come over here. Now this is the side of a stitch. You can do that or just skip over it. I'm going to skip over it like we did on that other side. And let's make that half double crochet together. And then let's just work one more if we have to. No, it looks like we can just work a regular half double crochet right there and then join. Okay, that's the only time we're going to join really. Now we're going to just keep working around and around. So go ahead and work one stitch into the join. And now work into each stitch going around. Okay, I'm working my way back around here. Just working one stitch into each stitch, even if it looks like a big giant hole right there. That's okay. And here we are back to the beginning. And now I'm just not going to worry about joining or anything. I'm going to work one more round. All going in the same direction. So that's super simple. And then we'll change color. So just to give you an idea of what that's looking like, what we needed to do was just kind of close up this. Now when you go to weave in this end, you'll want to weave it in and kind of close up these remaining holes that are right there. That's totally fine to do. Okay, so here we are estimating about where the last stitch is, right there. I will pull through with the new color and continue working for the length of the sleeve that I need. Okay, I finally have enough length that I want for his little sweater. And so the last thing that you need to do is start working on the bottom ribbing. So I kind of estimate, kind of get under here where, you know, kind of where our seam is. Looks like I could go maybe one stitch more. And then to start the trim, you're going to slip stitch to the next stitch. And then chain out. I'm going to chain out 8. So but this is the one time we are going to turn and we're going to work back against the stitches. So we're back to that slip stitching that we did for the collar. So we will have 7 slip stitches. We'll always work into the back loop. Nice. And then we will slip stitch into the next stitch and into the next stitch. And then I sort of turn, let's see, I'm turning like I'm turning backwards of a page in a book, back the opposite way. We kind of are going to, for this, we're going to flip, 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 kind of like that. You just want to make sure you do it the same, so it will look the same. Find that first loop right there. I'm working in the back loop. And this will get easier once we get some of the ribbing built up. There's something to hang on to here. And that last one sort of always gets buried down in there. Chain, turn back this way. And on the next one, when we get down to the base row, we are only going to slip stitch over one time. So that is the only difference. We're going to be doing this like at the end of the sleeve. You would slip stitch over twice every time. And on this, on the bottom of the sweater, we want just a little bit less of an ease or less of a gather. More ease, maybe is what I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're only going to every other time slip stitch 2 times. So fold it back this way, kind of tuck that back behind me. Find that 7th one, that last one that you worked into. We skip over the slip stitched one on the row. And we're going to work ourselves out. Chain 1 and turn, slip stitch over 2 times. Now if you still feel like that is pulling in too much on the bottom of the sweater, you want it less gathered, then continue just slip stitching over 1 time. It will look more gathered if you slip stitch twice. So here we go. 1 and 2. So that is really all the instructions that you'll need to know. You'll do this exact same thing when you get down to, after you make your little wrist. This I slip stitched 2 times over, and that's why it is pulled in so cute like that. And when you get back, you'll do that same technique with your tapestry needle, is just sew the 2 ends together, tie off, weave in your ends, and you've got yourself a really cute little sweater. So I'm gonna go sit down and finish this up. I'm hoping to have baby Jack try this on tomorrow, get some pictures. But anyway, the full pattern will be, the printable PDF is on daisyfarmcrafts.com. If you're just seeing this on YouTube, you can get the link down in the description box. And I hope you enjoy making this. Let me show you these half double crochet 2 togethers under here. You see how we just kind of put them together? You'll get that. That's just brings it in just a touch. They get hidden under the arm. So anyway, just quick and easy. You will need, one thing I forgot to mention, 2 probably. Look at how much, 1 isn't quite enough. Need 2 of the one color, 1 of these for the cute little stripe. I think that's so cute. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.